Live.
Hello, Mark, and welcome.
And welcome.
Today I have Marty on my show to you with. Marty, want to introduce yourself to everybody?
Hey, hi, I'm Marty from Talk to Marty. Hi, everybody. How's everyone doing? Any angry people there? Any addicts there? Anybody need some help? I'm here to help.
So,
All right.
Marty, why don't you tell everybody what you do?
What do? I help people with addiction and anger, educate them how to empower themselves so they know how to address their anger in a healthy way. Because it's an emotion that nobody really knows how to handle. And they're afraid to get angry. And yet anger is something that can't get away. It's just how you deal with it. Because most people stuff it. In the world that we're living in right now is crazy. And I wrote an article a couple of years ago how people worked on fear. And this fear base now in the world is becoming batshit crazy. So that's about it. And then most people get addicted because of that, because they can't handle life in the right way. So they need drugs and alcohol. And then that leads into when you drink too much, you become loopy and you get angry and your emotions start getting crazy. I don't know what else I'm supposed to say. I've been doing this for like 20 years. I just moved here from California. I had an office in Beverly Hills. I work with some from top to the bottom, from all walks of life. I'm court approved. I moved here to Florida just to run away from California. And then I came here and this is batshit crazy. What am I supposed to do now? I'm known for what I do. I'm a certified anger management addiction specialist. I'm a domestic violence facilitator. I'm a registered addiction specialist. I'm approved by all the courts. I've done interventions. I've traveled the world for interventions. And right now I'm here just to somewhat retire. I work at a couple of treatment facilities as a therapist. I have private practice. Matter of fact, I'm going to see a client right now. Basically, that's what I do. Help people. Actually, tell them to talk to me.
So,
Yes.
Marty, a question I have for you is there any benefit to anger?
Yeah, anger's healthy. Anger's making you aware something's going on. Anger is telling you to be aware something's happening. Problem with the anger is most people don't listen to their bodies. And they just get angry and they react. My job is to teach them how to respond with anger in a healthy way. So also anger is a learned behavior. So depending how you grew up is what you've learned and how to handle anger. And it's a 50-50 because girls are just as batshit crazy as guys. In anger, when it gets a hold of you, is an addiction. Matter of fact, I have to go to California for a case. A client of mine killed his fiance. He was in a blackout. And he didn't know what happened, and he called me, and he said he had a dream that he killed his fiancée. It was a dream, but it turned out to be real. If you looked at him, you wouldn't think he had any anger issues, but he just bottled everything up. And because anger goes three ways, and three ways only. We stuff it, we explode. My job is to teach you how to educate and embrace anger. When you get angry, it's healthy. It's telling you something's going on. We just don't listen. And we stuff it. And that's it. That's basically what anger is. But there's different reasons why people get angry. One of the biggest things, I work with a client, he says, I don't have anger issues. I said, yeah, but you just got arrested on TV. And he said it was justifiable anger. I said, there's no justifiable anger. I've worked with domestic violence cases where people just push, shove, disrespected me. So she had no choice. He had no choice. There's no reason to ever raise a hand, raise a voice to the point where you scare somebody, because that's abuse. Anger management for myself also involves working with psychological abuse, which is more important than physical abuse. I don't know what else you want to know.
So, Marty, you said that anger can be an addiction. Can you elaborate about that?
Anger is like a cocaine high. When you start going and you feel your body, you keep going, you're going, and you just enjoy the high. And when you start coming down, you start getting depressed, you start feeling guilty, you start getting remorseful for the stuff that you've done, okay? And then you need to get back up again. And when you start feeling bad and guilty and remorseful, you start feeling bad against yourself and anger towards yourself, then my experience with most clients I've worked with or people, they start taking it out on somebody else. So it's an addiction. It's like a cocaine high. You keep going, and you don't want to stop because it's an adrenaline rush. And that's what anger is. It's an addiction when, look, all addiction is an addiction, but not to everybody, but to most people. I don't know what else you want to know.
So Marty, where does like anger stem from? You know, originally with somebody.
Learned. Anger is an emotion. Put it this way, there's only basic emotions. Anger, sadness. It's all it is. It's not going to go away. It's a learned behavior. It's how you grew up. You know, sometimes you've learned, I know most people have learned were told not to say anything. How do you feel that way? So what happens is then they explode. It's learned behavior. It's sometimes being bullied. You get angry. It's trauma. Anger is not going away. It's an emotion. There's a basic emotion: sadness, joy, shame. Shame-based anger is, you know, how you think the world perceives you, how you perceive yourself. That's huge. So there's all kinds of anger, and it's an emotion that's not going away. We all have it. We all get angry. It's what we do with the anger. I teach this. I'm known for this. I've been written up on this a lot of times. I had my own TV show for a second about anger management, and I get angry. I'm not immune to this. It's a normal emotion, except I know what to do with it, and now not to get crazy, where most people don't. So everyone gets angry. If anyone tells you they don't get angry, they're lying. Everyone gets angry. I get angry.
So Marty,
What
steps can someone implement when they're getting angry so they don't go into a full-fledged anger?
The only thing I really recommend, I could go to so many different kinds of cognitive distortions, ABCD method, everything. Your number one thing is breathe. Number one, you want to de-escalate and breathe. So this way you could respond instead of reacting. And that's your number one psychological thing, is just take the moment to breathe, breathing exercises. And someone said to me, that's the dumbest thing you could say, Marty. I said, no, it's the easiest thing to do. Actually, when you start listening to your body, you know you're getting angry. If you take the breathe, you're just de-escalating, so that's about it. That's the easiest and the best thing you could do. Walk away. There's no right or wrong. You have to respect someone else's opinion. I just had a situation yesterday where I had de-escalate two people, two different opinions on the same on a thing, and they fought for a second. Then I said, respect each other's opinion. He's holding on to his opinion, you're holding on to your opinion. That doesn't mean you're both wrong or right. It just means you look at things completely different. So that's about it.
So it's easy said than done, right? Just to take a deep breath and to walk away or to calm down, because
it is easier said than done. But this is about learning how to respond completely different. Learning to unlearn learned behavior, exactly what it is. And everyone that says to me, you don't understand, it's too difficult. I said, no, it's just challenging. You just have to look at it. When you understand you have anger issues and how you respond to anger, you react versus responding. And if you really break down to it, anger is an umbrella of emotion, shame, whatever the reasons are behind it. If you understand that you could react differently and respond differently, you will. You just have to be willing to make a change. That's what it basically. This whole conversation can take hours and hours. First, most people don't think they have anger issues, and within a half hour after speaking to them, they understand they react stupid to certain situations, and we go, why do they? How they were brought up, what they think is norm to them is not norm to anybody else. Like people who are Italian say they scream because that's how they do it. And that's how they communicate, but one screams louder than the other, it escalates, and then I've seen knives pulled. It's all crazy. What? What? Don't get me angry now. What?
We seem to be living in a world in which a lot of people seem to be more and more angry and turning to violence to alleviate their anger.
Well, most people right now are fear-based. They're scared. They're scared of their job. They have to work harder to make less. More people depending on them. And I had this conversation this morning with somebody where they're afraid to ask for help because how they grew up, they're supposed to be at a certain level and they're not. So they think themselves as losers. So they react completely different. It's a whole different world out there. Stock market now is going back up. People are losing money. People have to work harder, have 2 jobs. Expenses are going up. So they're reacting foolishly. They react out of fear. So that's what's happening right now. It's a scary world. Open up the TV, put on TV, and what do you see? Murder, death, all the craziness. And then we're immune to it too. So that's
really quick, what advice would you give to somebody that is having, a hard time with anger? What advice would you give somebody?
No, I'm really saying, get into a spirituality, go take a walk into nature, go look outside, write a list of what are you grateful for, go into basics, be in gratitude that you're alive and you're kicking. I know a girl that just killed herself. She looked at the world, she got depressed, and that was it. She shot herself to death. 42 years old, beautiful. Just get in touch with nature. Talk to somebody. Get on medication. I know people are on medication and it works perfectly. Just speak to someone, and when you're having anger issues. Go to anger management. I'm being serious. It's not going to go away. It's not going away. Anger is not going away. It's there. And unless you learn how to react to it, and not react, but to respond, you're in trouble.
So Marty, how do people get a hold of you? If someone wants to, reach out to you, whatever, how does somebody find you?
Google my name, Marty Brenner. Or my website is martybrenner.com. Talk to Marty B. I also have another one called Addicted to Anger.com. I've written some articles that you could look at on that, on any of the websites about anger. If you think you have anger issues, and most people do because how they react to it, speak to someone about it. Really, because I've seen people react and they're going to a blackout. And women, that's the same thing. I've worked with girls, successful women, under stress. I'm going to see someone tonight who's stressed out, and she's fear-based right now. If you look at her, she's millions and millions of dollars. But she's concerned where the next dollar's coming from because the way the world is right this second. So it affects everybody. Everybody. I'm working with a basketball player, whoever it is. Everyone's concerned about what's going to happen next. So just talk to someone. That's about it, really. Don't be ashamed. Don't be ashamed. I don't want to see you get hurt. I've spoken to a client and said, don't make a move, because you can tell by body language. And you know it. You're going to hear your pop. And anger is the silent killer. And that's the truth. It is a silent killer. Most people have heart attacks. Immune systems go. It affects every part of your body when you stuff in the anger. Just admit that you have to deal with it. What else?
So Marty, I really do appreciate you being online and everything like that. I know you're very busy and everything like that. And I really think that a lot of people get a lot of value of what you just said. Do you have anything closing you want to say in closing?
Be kind to yourself. That's the most important thing. Be kind to yourself. If you think you have an anger problem, you probably do. If you have an addiction problem, talk to somebody. Just get honest with yourself. That's all it is. We're in a world of stress right this second. I know I had an anger issue. That's why they don't need another therapist. So my specialty is anger. I was a divorced father, and who could I help? I wanted to help people like me. So I've been doing this for like 17 years. All right. So if you have an issue, just be honest with yourself. Just look at what you're doing and how you're reacting to certain situations. And then you'll be honest with yourself. You figure out you do have some issues. And if you don't, you don't. Don't find something that you have fault with. But if you do, get some help. Speak to someone. When you want, just take a time out. Take a look in the world and be grateful for what you have right now. Not for what you don't have, but for what you do have. And that's about it, really.
Well, Marty, Thank you very much. That was really awesome. And you have a very good evening.
You got it. We good? Was that really hand claps? Can I close this?